right, so here's our 45-degree coupler. This is gonna go on the pipe that's right there by the headlight. We'll get that thing on, and this is the straight. Straight's gonna go where the turbo inlet is. So I've got, it's not Windex, it is WD-40. So I like to just spray a little bit in here just to make it easier to slide the coupler on over the pipe. It'll just give you the mobility to move this around because you want to get the right angle. You'll see that we're going to be fighting a few things. So we have our AC hoses here, we have our carbon canister hose, we have some of the wiring. So it does get a little bit tight. That's why we ran the bulk of the wiring harness underneath the AC hoses. And then this guy is just going to slip in, and we're going to basically go flush with the pipe. And then we'll slide it on once we get the pipe in. That way you're not fighting the silicone coupler getting that pipe on. So we'll grab our pipe and we'll get it in place. We'll get our silicone coupler slid on. You could put your clamps on now. It's up to you. I kind of like to do it after the fact. I will loosen them all the way up and then wrap them around. Just makes it easier. You won't scratch your piping if you do it that way, and you just do it one at a time. So. All right, so there is essentially the gist of it right there, guys. Our pipe is in. You're gonna wanna make sure that you have enough of the coupler towards this middle pipe, and same thing here. That way you get your best fitment. This isn't a pressurized pipe. Just remember, this is suction, this is the inlet. That's why we don't have a bead around the pipe, because you don't need it. It's not pressurized. On our intercooler piping, we actually obviously have that because it's pressurized. You're making boost, and you can slide right off. But with this stuff, you don't need it. It makes it a little bit easier to install without it. And we'll tighten that side up, and then we'll move on to the right-hand side. We've got 3 of our 4 clamps on. I started at the turbo side. So what you want to do, and again, to get the best fitment, is get your coupler so that you have probably 1/2 inch on your pipe, tighten it down, and then do the same thing with the pipe to the coupler on the intermediate pipe here, and then do the same thing on the headlight side, on the very inside of this. Get your clamp on 1/2 inch, and then you can basically slide this pipe, and I have no clamp on. This is the last clamp we're gonna do. And then that way you can feel on how much pipe you have in here. So, because if you don't have this right, you're gonna say, oh, it's too short or it's too long, or you gotta basically play with that coupler to get your best fitment. Otherwise you're gonna be sliding off if the coupler's on too far on one pipe versus the other. So you wanna get it just right. So again, just taking time to do it. You're always gonna get your best fitment and clean fitment, so the couplers don't look like they're being stressed out, and you're not gonna be up against anything. All right, so what I'm gonna do, because you can see, you can pull this out and whatnot, I'm gonna push it in so that pipe is gonna go further down to get us better fitment, because again, we gotta fit our outlet pipe. Our outlet pipe's gonna come out of here, out of our compressor outlet, and we're gonna attach to this pipe of the intercooler. So I am going to push down on this pipe so that we get our best fit for when we get the intercooler piping in. And we're gonna make sure that our clamp is square. All right, so we are installing our catch can kit. We've got the catch can mounted. Pretty basic setup. It just mounts right off the side over here. We'll get a better shot of it. So I'm doing the routing as we speak.
Take me alive.
All right, so we are getting closer to getting Alex's beautiful sapphire blue Z32 wrapped up. We just dropped the motor in today. What we're gonna do now is get the downpipes in. These are our 5-bolt downpipes. We've upgraded the turbos to JWT, Jim Wolf Technology, Sport 700 GTX Gen 2s. And to go with that extra power this thing's gonna be making, we're gonna have our flywheel on there and our high 5 clutch. So we're gonna bolt these bad boys in, take a little watch and see, because this stuff is really nice, really pretty. A little bit like artwork, especially these downpipes. So we're gonna go ahead and do that next. All right, this 96, we're almost there. We've got the engine back in it, of course. We did kind of a slight refresh. We've gone ahead and replaced all the rod bearings in it. And really, the biggest thing is converting that 96 nasty stuff. You know what I'm talking about? The cams, the biggest thing, right? And the ECU. So what we've done is we've put in a early version of the EFI wiring harness. And we're gonna mate that up with a Haltech Elite 2500. We've added all the VTC parts we need, so the solenoids, our valves, and we've also gone with the JWT 500 cams, the hydraulic versions. So we've gone and done that. We've resealed everything. We've added our Specialty Z 6-quart oil pan to this bad boy. And really just gone through it. It already had a very early version of the intercooler piping that we offer. And this is actually running the old school ash spec intercoolers from a long time ago. So the other thing that we've added is our dummy MAFs. So what we've done is we've got our billet dummy MAFs, which are really nice. We offer these, they're not live on the site, but they will be probably by the time this video hits. And we've got 2 different sizes, so you can either shorten or lengthen the length of your air filter, your pop charger. So really clean, allows us to get rid of the MAFs. We've gone ahead and put in some GFB recirculation valves. They fit really, really nice with the inlet and the intercooler piping. So, you know, behind all of this, of course, to make more power is we've gone away from the stock turbos, gone with upgraded exhaust manifolds, and we've also gone ahead and done the Gen 2 GTX JWT Sport 700s, which are essentially just the 2860 RSs and the Gen 2 offering for the GTX family. You know, we've done some powder coating, so it's a nice stock looking setup. And we've gone ahead and added the Z-Spec dress-up hardware along the way. So you'll see a little bit of that dress-up stuff. Because this car is gonna be mainly a street car now, we've just gone ahead with a factory-style radiator, and we've added our air guide. So cleans up, there's no gap here anymore, and will help keep the airflow going through the core on this bad boy. So all in all, really close. Just gotta finish the last bit of wiring. We've done a majority of all our wiring for our air temp sensor. We've added the Haltech dual wideband controller, oil temperature sensor, which is located at the back of our pan. And we've added also oil pressure sensor, so we can keep tabs on all that stuff. Pretty basic. We're using the Nissan 740s for fueling our Walbro upgrade kit. You know, this car really, we're just gonna keep it around 600 wheel. Really more than enough, especially if he's gonna be taking it onto the road courses. So again, we've added our flex fuel kit, and that is just gonna run directly into the Haltech, since the Haltech can support a digital input, so which is really cool with that. We can, of course, always add our little Bluetooth device on there, but this thing's gonna get the Haltech CAN, our wideband gauge itself, so he can monitor all kinds of stuff, not just the wideband, but flex fuel, RPM, boost, air fuel ratio on both banks, oil temperature, coolant temperature, oil pressure, all sorts of really cool stuff that this thing can do. So almost ready to fire up. We'll finish up some of our wiring bits, and we'll hit this bad boy and get it on the dyno. Oh, and of course, sorry, I forget. You know, I always point this out, but this is gonna be, of course, on our cam trigger kit. And again, really important, especially if you're running a standalone ECU. You know, this is kind of the middle bridge. You know, it's not a full-on cam and crank trigger kit, but this definitely makes a dramatic difference, you know, with timing. So you get away from the slop, again, on the teeth of the CAS and the dowel inside the exhaust camshaft, you know, so that definitely will help clean up some timing issues, and it's super easy of an install. Again, only applies to those running a standalone ECU, like a Haltech AEM Link, any of those. And oh yeah, and I forgot one last thing, it's running, you know, larger throttle bodies. So really old school, you can kind of see how long ago we did all this stuff, but old school Z1 oversized throttle bodies that this bad boy has. You won't see that very often anymore. And we'll probably catch you guys when we're on the dyno with it next.